Okay, today I'm in Somerset with Will Biddick, the Winningmost point-to-point jockey ever. What's the current total?
430 something at the moment, pointing, and then just over 500 underalls, so in total, yeah.
Okay, so you beat the record in April 2019. You had your first ride when you were 16. So do you remember that specifically?
I do, yeah. It was Dad trained a few pointers when we were growing up, and there's a lovely horse called Just Bert. He was actually Nick Schofield's father had won on him. That's how long ago it was. And around Wadebridge, point to point, that was our local. Rode him in the hunt race. Got outridden by Lucy Gardner. I think after I finished second on him first time out, and then I fell off every other time after that for the next 2 years. So bit of a failure after that.
So what was your background? Was it a horse sort of background?
Yeah, always hunting and racing really. Farming. Dad farms in between Bodmin and Wadebridge. So beef and sheep. So I grew up mad on the farm, and then he, with the hunting side of it as well, with Dad being part of the hunt, and then following on from that, it got to about 15 and said, right, well, I'll have a go at this. But I didn't really have a lot of interest before that. Dad and my sister and that would always watch the racing on the weekends, and I'd just poke about on the farm and do different things. And with the pointers always being there, I would ride out, and then got into it. 14, 15, started getting involved with and said, yeah, I'll give it a go.
Did you ride with the hunt?
Yeah, I rode North Cornwall hunt. That was my upbringing, so it was all jumping banks and stuff like that. So it was slightly different than the whole fly jumping, but it was good. Yeah.
So that was your training. Then you went straight into racing.
Did 16. Got the license at 16. Rode them for 2 years, and enjoyed it, but didn't love it. Had a winner, but didn't really know what I was doing, and fell off a lot. And I was half thinking I'll give up now. And all summer I was thinking to Dad, how do I tell him? He'd bought some horses at the sales, and I think we had about a dozen in at one time. And I said, I don't want to do it in my head. I was like, all summer, how do I tell Dad I don't want to do it? And then Len Vickery, who's a good family friend, his daughter was Venetia Williams' secretary, Shirley Vickery, and he said, why don't you go to Venetia's, whether you become a jockey or not, it'll be worth it. Just get away from home. And so for me, thinking I'd had enough, moved home at 18 and went up to Venetia's, and ended up being there for nearly 5 years.
So that must have been quite a learning curve up there.
I went from a boy to a man quite quickly. I lived with Sam Thomas and Liam Treadwell right from the start, and I think within a week I had my head shaved off. But yeah, really good days, fun days, and that's what got me hooked on the racing then. From me doing it for a couple of years pointing and not being overly in love with it. As soon as I went to Venetia's, absolutely loved it, and I was hooked then.
So were you sort of mucking in, doing the normal stable duties when you were there?
Yeah, full time. Get to the yard at 6:30, and then you muck out and ride out, do the evening stables, and absolutely loved it. And Venetia helped immensely with my riding, and over a fence, and with the help from Sam Thomas and Liam Treadwell, they'd always give me some advice, and we'd go through their races, and they'd watch my races, and with all of that help together, it I started to create a style, which I later changed when I moved down towards Ditchit.
Okay, so moving forward, you are the top jockey on the point-to-point circuit. How difficult is it to stay in that position?
I think I was just very fortunate. I had the relationship with Richard Barber, and before that I was riding 10, 12, 14 winners in a season, and he obviously saw something in me and stuck by me, and then he was getting up to 30, 40, 50 winners in a season, being involved with him. And you don't have to be the best rider in pointing to be getting that many winners. You just need to have a lot of ammunition, and I had a lot of ammo to pull on, which then improved my riding anyway, because I'm riding a lot and a lot of really top horses. So I improved a lot. But there's a lot of young lads coming through now that are they're professionals in the waiting. So they'll do a year or two and then they go and chase their dream of being a professional. And I've still got goals to achieve, and I'm a long way from content. So it was catch me if you can, really.
Okay, it must be, unlike professional jockeys, you guys don't get paid, so it must be quite an expensive job to seriously chase a championship every year, with all the travel and the expenses. Yeah,
no, but it's we do it for the love of it as well. I really enjoy what I do, and I love the pointing, and it's a sport that I've become relatively good at, and I'm a competitive bloke, so it's I get a buzz out of it in that way, and it I always want to strive for more and become better. And I had a go at being professional for 12 months, really struggled with the weight, and now I've found my little niche, and with the ammunition and the support, I still want to chase more, break more records and ride more winners. And if I gave up now, I'd miss it. So keep going.
Okay, the modern professional jockey would have an agent ringing up trainers all day long to make sure they got a full book of rides. I'm assuming you have to do that yourself. So there's a lot of sort of homework, heading the form book and that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you had an agent pointing, they'd say, "Who the hell are you?" So now the phone is going all week. People enter for the weekend before for the coming week, and from Monday night it's flat out all week, and it's harder in the start of the season, I think, because horses they're not all fit, and they're some trainers have their horses ready early, and some don't get them going till the new year, and it's hard to judge the form. But as soon as you're in January, February, you kind of get the form of the horses, and I'd know where the horses are good at, and the courses they like, and the owners and trainers prefer to go to that meeting, or they want to go to that race. And I'll get off a horse and say, there's a race in 2 weeks. It'd be better going there. We've got beat today, but it'd be better ground. It goes the other way around, so aim for that in 2 weeks' time. He hasn't had too much of a hard race, so should be fine. Things like that. And so you help come back with some good criticism if it doesn't work, and either way you've got to look for the future. So win or lose, you've got to still plan and help the trainer and suggest things. And I'm the only one as a jockey. You go on feel and what you think will suit the horse, and then so working together you can place it, because ultimately you want the same result and you want to win. Right. So did you get the luxury of them ringing you more than you have to ring them? Well, I've got good relationships with over the years, 17 years racing now, so created some good relationships with people, and all on understanding. But I'll be ringing a lot of people in the week, the people I'm connected to just make sure everything's all right, the horse is all right. If that horse isn't right, there's another horse I can ride in the race, so let me know if anything changes and different things. Okay, now you won the Irish Champion at the Chase in 2018 and 2019 on Cad de Burley. Tell us a bit about that. Rest in peace, Rose Loxton. She did a phenomenal job with that horse. He's not the most straightforward, but he's got a proper engine. We didn't have a lot of success around Cheltenham 3 years in a row, but then we miss Aintree and go to Punchestown. We'll see how it goes, sort of thing. And he bolted up there 3 years ago, and then we'll do the same again the following year, and then had a dud at Cheltenham, missed Aintree. Is he okay? Is he right? We'll go to Punchestown, see how he goes. He went well last year. Bolted up again, and then unfortunately he couldn't. With COVID this year, we didn't get there, but he could have easily done the hat trick. Really top horse and got a massive buzz out of riding him.
Have you ridden in point to points in Ireland? Are you allowed to?
They did the Jockey Challenge, the Anglo-Irish Challenge. Did that twice at Fairyhouse and Inch point to point, I think. And that was good fun. And they always put on a good do after and a bit of a party. And it's always good fun.
How did the Irish lads react to you nicking their biggest prize 2 years in a row?
Well, to my face they were fine. They might have slated me a bit on my back, but.
Now you've done something that a lot of professional jockeys never do. You've had a Cheltenham winner in the Venetia Williams Festival Plate on Something Wales in 2009. How satisfying was it to beat the professionals at Cheltenham?
It was pretty good. I remember Venetia saying this was for Venetia, and he had 10 stone 12. I was claiming £5, and I think she said it might have been the Thursday. She said, "Can you ride something on the Tuesday?" She said, "Can you ride Something Wales on Thursday?" Yeah, no problem, love to. Then I said yes, and I look at the weights. 10-12, claim 5, 10-7. So the next day I was sweating in the bath and got down to the weight, just did the weight, and then she had 3 in the race. He was 33-1. Liam Treadwell, who I was living with at the time, rode the favourite. Aidan Coleman rode the 8-1 shot. And it was me and Liam turning in. Up the run-in together. So it was a massive, massive buzz. And in fairness, probably as much as I enjoyed it, I didn't probably appreciate it as much. It's not an easy thing to achieve. And at the time, I probably didn't appreciate it enough. I'd soak it up more now if I did it again, I think.
Now you mentioned your weight there. You did a year as sort of potentially a professional jockey. If it wasn't for your weight problems, do you think that's the road you would have gone down?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was fully committed to have a go. We had a good year that season then, and then that week I got second in the Midlands National. And we had a really good year with Venetia, and we had discussions, and it was decided I'll go conditional. And it just I had nearly 100 rides, and I just struggled with my weight. It was a lot to ask, and the effort's going in. I wasn't getting enough out of it. I didn't feel, and mentally it was tough. And you have some bad days, and you go around with a jockey badge in your car, and you tell your family you're a jockey, but you're not riding, and mentally it was a bit draining. And then you're sweating to lose the weight and get down to that riding weight and try to be positive at the same time. And I think a lot of things were just, it was actually a tough year from having such a high the year before. That was a proper drain on the body mentally and physically. So it was decided, just had a good discussion with Venetia, and that was it. I'd said, I've done my bit, I've had a go, not good enough. Weights really caught me out, so thanks very much for your time, and I'm going to pack it in.